sugary drinks are actually one of the top items purchased with SNAP dollars. And I don't want to associate being healthy because that's a Republican thing. But why can't we just come under this one umbrella of making America healthy again? Food and health should not be Republican or Democratic. And we should
Right.
all want to live better, be better.
Okay, so then this is where all of us continue with this thing is like, okay, so why are the crappy foods so cheap and why are the healthy foods so expensive?
We could come together, start making some changes. Maybe people will start feeling better.
Welcome to the Hot Takes and Hard Truths podcast, where we believe in unfiltered health, healing with real food, and unapologetic freedom that can only be achieved through the salvation of Jesus Christ. Your hosts, Jen and Nora, are close friends who found each other online despite the constant noise within the healthy living social media space. Their passion for natural health and Jesus, and their penchant to lean into the hard topics of the day, led them to want to share their thoughts and ideas with others who are also in search for meaning and answers. Please welcome your hosts, Jen and Nora.
Hello, everyone. Glad to have you back here. I have my Maha shirt on because that is going to be our topic today. Things that have been in the headlines lately regarding making America healthy again.
So there's been some serious controversial topics going around, and the biggest one has been about the SNAP program and cutting out some of the processed foods. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't know much about SNAP or the history. I did not know that SNAP was actually food stamps. It's embarrassing to say. So I did some research as to why this was so controversial. And I don't know if any of our listeners know what SNAP stands for, but it's a Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Key on nutrition.
Yeah.
So, nutrition, nutrients, fueling the body. So, our taxpayer dollars are funding low income people their groceries. And the big headline recently is a bunch of states are requiring some changes made to the SNAP program and what they're allowed to purchase. So they are taking away sodas, sugary drinks, and candy.
That is huge.
Yeah. How can that be a bad thing? I mean,
and people are like outraging, right? Online, of course. Like we're taking away their soda and their candy.
they're comparing it to a dictatorship once again. And this is not even happening until 2026. So you still have some time to get all of this, I hate to say it, crap food.
I was going to say, you got time to get your life together so you can afford it yourself. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bitter about stuff like that.
So
But the thing is, like, you can still have it. No one's stopping you from having it. It's just the whole point of it, the whole point of SNAP and food stamps is to give nutrition to the people so they are healthy, especially when they can't afford food. It's not to indulge in, you know, indulgent things. It's like you can't buy cigarettes with SNAP, right? Like you can't buy.
there's a workaround. So apparently, you can get cash back from your SNAP card and purchase cigarettes. I learned way too much
Not
in the comments section.
indirectly.
I'm sorry?
Indirectly, you can get the cigarettes.
Indirectly, yes. I
But it
did
doesn't
not want to
cover.
read that at all.
Yeah. Probably the same with alcohol, I would assume.
Yep.
Like, basically. Yeah. So they would have to stop the cashback part. That's so strange. I didn't realize you could get cash back. What's the point of it then? Just give out.
I don't understand the ins and outs, and maybe we can be corrected in the comments, but it was
I'm
very enlightening hearing all that you can purchase with the SNAP, what you can do with it. So, the SNAP was actually created to help Americans in crisis literal crisis, get food on the table, which is a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm all for that. After the Great Depression is when the food stamps came about. That was a horrific time and people did need help. And, I can agree sometimes with the government stepping in, but somewhere along the way, food became a loose term. And today, SNAP benefits can be used for anything that does nothing to nourish the body. And it does nothing to help a struggling family because what happens when you're eating these processed foods, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be sick. You're going to get sick and you're going to stay sick. So, sugary drinks are actually one of the top items purchased with SNAP dollars. And the fact that RFK Jr. has suggested to stop using taxpayer dollars to keep America sick, how could anybody argue that that's a bad thing?
I don't it's people say their freedoms are taken away, but I don't see it that way because you still have the freedom to
Mhm.
do it. It's just the tax money is not allotted for that. And we could go off on other ones off air you and I compared it to, which I guess people in the comments have also alluded to, where they say it's like my choice. It's my body. Don't go in, don't dictate what goes in my mouth or comes out of my feminine area, right? So that sounded really weird. Sorry. Um,
Yeah, one of the comments, and I had mentioned earlier, was stay out of my refrigerator and stay out of my uterus.
that's what it was.
And yeah, I don't want to fund either. And I shouldn't
Well,
do.
we shouldn't, but here's the other thing. Since you brought up that analogy, like if you're going to fund the killing of babies, you also need to fund the making of babies.
Yes.
If it's truly pro-choice,
Yeah.
if you are truly pro-choice, you would fund both. You would say government should fund all reproductive support, a lot of it, but we shouldn't have to pay anything if we are infertile and want to have a baby. It should not come out of like it should be both ways. But that's not the case. Sorry. Total different tangent, but I get heated on that one.
I know.
Uh so it's the same with the food. Like, yeah, you have a choice of what you want to eat, but the whole point of it is to get you healthy. But then we can go down what some people would call conspiracy theory land as to why would the government have funded bad foods that are so highly addictive for people on Snap?
Because it goes back to my favorite phrase, a patient cured is a patient lost. And they are creating patients every day by keeping Americans sick.
Mhm.
And and it was very mind-blowing and mind-opening to see the comment section because people actually buy their kids' birthday cakes with their SNAP cards. And they were so concerned about, "Well, I can't buy my child a birthday cake." Make your child a birthday cake. Do you know how inexpensive it is to actually bake a cake and how much better it tastes? In my opinion, I think homemade tastes a million times better than any store-bought cake. But, I mean, it's what, a couple dollars?
Well, yeah, because the flour well, we can get in a whole thing about
Yeah,
flour,
yeah, yeah,
but, I mean,
yeah. Just
for people
store-bought
who
regular flour.
yeah, just get your flour, your eggs, your butter, stuff you already have in the house usually.
Yeah.
But not only that, but you're making memories with your kiddo.
Yes, invite
It
them
can
to
help.
help.
Yeah, so it becomes this whole beautiful family-oriented thing. "Let's make your cake together." You get to pick the shape, the size. You get to pick what color frosting you want, which that will improve too. The dyes. Um, but yeah, make memories with your family. It doesn't not everything has to be handed on a silver platter to you.
It's sad that we have to get so divided on this topic once again because people are also blaming it on Republicans versus Democrats. And I don't want to associate being healthy because that's a Republican thing. But why can't we just come under this one umbrella of making America healthy again? And I think that was very upsetting to read. We talked about this on the food pyramid and how dare RFK Jr. want to change that.
That is just so wild to me that people would make health a partisan issue. Like, if you want to be healthy, you're Republican? Like, I I don't get it. I don't get it. I never used to be big into politics until the past, what year are we in? 2025?
Mhm.
I think 2018 is when I started showing a little interest,
Yeah.
but and which is
Likewise.
coincidentally the same time as when I started my health journey.
Ah, yep.
That's funny. I never put those 2 and 2 together.
Makes
But
sense.
yeah, I was never, and I'm still not really big into it. I'm more of, "Hey, what's happening? Is our country going into a good direction, in a
Yes.
bad direction?" I don't consider myself one way or the other in the political arena. Like, I find myself more right in the middle. There's certain stances I'm more Republican. I can't really say I have any stances the other way because they've gone too far,
Yeah.
right? And there are plenty. I think it was Jillian Michaels who talked about this on her podcast not too long ago. Actually, it was probably like 6 months ago now, where she was Democrat and she started seeing how far left her party was going, and she said, I don't align with those things anymore. So she's never said where she is now. There's always the independent, you know, in that crowd, and I think a lot of people have left the far left and just consider themselves in the middle now, and that's kind of where I consider myself.
I'm definitely more libertarian leaning
Mhm.
because I hate to say it, I don't trust either side, and I want the
Yeah.
government to stay away from me. I want much less government. I don't agree with taxes. Just me. I want to keep my money. It's my money, and I want to own things. But that's another tangent we can go into. But
Yeah.
yeah, food and health should not be Republican or Democratic. And we should
Right.
all want to live better, be better. I mean, my patients, I see my patients come in on their walkers. Jen, they're 60 years old. They're needing bilateral knee replacements because of their decades worth of poor food choices. And I hate to say it that a lot of these people are on Medicaid. So they're getting this assistance because they can't work because they're in such poor health. So we're creating this vicious cycle. We are paying for people to get these poor food choices, which yeah, I guess soda is pretty inexpensive, but it's creating that addiction, that processed food addiction. Yes, a box of macaroni or candy, it's pretty inexpensive. And you can survive off of that, but it's not making you any healthier. It's not helping us as a nation. And then you're just going to create more comorbidities. Type 2 diabetes is very common in this demographic. Unfortunately, type 2 diabetes is very prevalent, which comes from poor lifestyle. And so they're going to be getting on Medicaid, which is once again taxpayer dollars. I'm working my tushy off to get healthy so that I don't have
Yeah.
to rely on anyone.
Yeah.
But my taxpayer dollars are going to support these people who unfortunately have made the poor decisions.
Yeah.
And that may sound
Um,
judgy, and I'm sorry, people, but it is it is a hard truth. This is the hard truth.
yeah. No, totally. It is. And so they're taking, I don't know if you've seen this, and if you haven't, I mean, just say it. They're taking that out of SNAP. Does do we have a list of like what type of food SNAP does allow? Like, do they allow meats
Yes.
and all that?
So that was the other thing. Oh, and by the way, I have it pulled up. Not all states are doing this yet. We are hoping that all states will jump on board, but there's only, what, a dozen states or so right now that have signed up to do this. Others are following suit. But one of the big comments in the section was, well, if they're cutting out candy and soda, then they need to cut out filet mignon and lobster as well, because people on SNAP should not be affording the expensive cuts of meat and seafood. So that
I
was
mean,
another
that's more,
argument.
yeah, that's more of like if they want to use up all their money on it's still a nutrient dense food,
Correct.
but if they want to use their money on an expense, I don't know if people would be doing that.
Not that I usually see, or,
No,
not that I'm really
they're
paying that much attention in the grocery store, but I
no.
don't think that people that are on SNAP are actually getting the higher quality cuts of meat. I could be wrong, and I'm not trying to
And
judge
maybe they might
whatsoever,
get it
but
like they might get it like once for a birthday or maybe they're like, let's splurge this month. But I don't think that's what they're getting on repeat.
because it's the expensive thing and they want their SNAP to last as long as possible. Well, they're not gonna spend $30 a pound on a steak
Right.
when they can get a box of macaroni for 99 cents.
Exactly. Which that could be okay, so then this is where all of us in the Maha movement continue with this thing is like, okay, so why are the crappy foods so cheap and why are the healthy foods so expensive? Well, in case people don't know, there's the government subsidies. And government subsidies make those foods cheaper. But then when you have real nutritious organic vegetables and fruits and the meats and the fish, they don't get government subsidies. So that's why when you find mayo, if you're going to buy mayo, mayonnaise, for
Yep.
example, you get one with like avocado oil, eggs, like the real healthy ingredients, it's going to be far more expensive than the one made with canola oil because these food companies get paid by the government. This is something you can look up. It's out there. It's not conspiracy. They get paid by the government to put the inflammatory oils in your foods. I saw at Costco shredded cheese with canola oil.
Oh,
Why?
why? What's
What
the
is
point?
what is this purpose? But to make it cheaper. Maybe they could put in a little bit. And
Make it
I
last
was
longer? Maybe. Is that that's not even a preservative. I don't
no,
even
it's
know.
not. That's the thing. So it's like maybe cheese was getting expensive and they pulled in this government. I don't know.
They're
That one is
creating
my own.
cheese.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh. But yeah,
Oh,
and I can't wait. I want to start doing some videos about how to make things easy at home. I have been paying, and I am so embarrassed to admit this, I've been paying $12.99 for Primal Kitchen mayo because that is the most high quality I've found, and Bryce has to have his sandwiches. But I cannot wait to perfect a recipe at home that's going to cost pennies.
yeah.
And it's going to be so much better for us. I mean, Primal Kitchen is great, but it's going to be cost effective. And I have
Yeah.
to start doing that with me cutting back from work. But yeah, I'll finally have the time. And yes, it does take time, but these things can be perfected and take you minutes eventually.
And then you get your rhythm with those kind of
Yeah,
things.
exactly.
By the way, Primal Kitchen has been bought out by Kraft, so
Stop
we
it.
do need to so we need to be careful with the ingredients
I
still.
do
They
look.
were bought out.
I do look.
Okay. I get Chosen Foods, which is
And
the same ingredient, and it's a big jar at Costco for $9.
I let my membership lapse.
Oh,
So maybe I'll have to, we'll see.
yeah,
I
we'll see.
didn't know about that.
Uh,
Okay, well, darn it.
yeah,
So
you get a lot of stuff there.
it's, and before people say, back on this whole SNAP thing, not too many people are actually buying the sugary drinks. I did pull up some numbers, some statistics, if you're interested. So about 20% of SNAP dollars, 20% goes toward sugary drinks and snack foods, with sweetened beverages alone accounting for approximately over 9% of all expenditures. A broader USDA linked study found that 23% of SNAP purchases are for junk food categories. That includes sugary drinks, desserts, candy, salty snacks, and sugar. That equates to roughly $23 billion annually.
Stop. Stop.
Like, I couldn't wrap my head around that number. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So this is not a
23 billion?
small portion.
Like, do you know how much meat and veg and fruit, organic, we could feed the poor? I'm going to tie in a little biblical part here that just popped in my mind is, Jesus said the poor will always be with you. So we'll never be able, if you come from a Christian standpoint, we'll never be able to solve world hunger or poverty, but we can make a massive indent in it
Yes.
and help these people live productive, fulfilling lives. And if people like they want their soda, just go pay for it yourself. We are trying to help you be healthy. That is the point of it.
And this was very fascinating to me. So I've been trying to support local farmers, go to organic grocery stores. Now my organic grocery stores, they cost a pretty penny. But I was at my butcher the other day and there was a local farmer who had set up shop by the road. And I was like, let me go check this out. $3 a pound of quote unquote organic vegetables. I asked him, do you spray? And he said, no, but I haven't paid for that organic sign that you have to pay for. But yeah, for $20, I brought home 5 nights worth of vegetables
Wow.
for my
I
husband.
didn't realize how much.
So to
Yeah.
me, when you break it down, it wasn't bad. So $20,
No.
5 nights.
And depending where you live, there's a lot of places like obviously organic is ideal, but given the person's circumstance, like you're gonna get what you can. Here in Phoenix, we have a few things I have found, and I've participated from time to time. Market on the Move, and I know that's in different places around the US where you get eh, like a huge ton of food for $10. And sometimes it's ultra processed junk, but sometimes you're getting vegetables, lettuce. They had masa chips.
No way.
I missed that one. But sometimes there was one time where every box you bought, you got a pound of grass-fed beef. And then there was something else that was in there. Oh, Zevia. They had Zevia. So sometimes they have good options. Sometimes it's
Wow.
like,
That's some high
but
quality stuff.
yeah, the Zevia and the beef alone would have been $20. And I was like, all right, I'll. And then the whole point of it is you create community because it's way too much food for one person. So you take it and you share it with other people, and then you're making that community. I had like 20 pounds of Brussels sprouts once. I didn't know it was going to be that much. I said, what do I do with all these Brussels sprouts? So, I packed them up in little grocery bags and handed them out to neighbors.
Oh, awesome.
But they have that. And then there's another one called Everybody's Family Fruit, I believe it's called.
Oh,
And they have different, I just had a text today because they were gone for a bit. You can buy combo boxes for $30 and you get over 20 pounds of fruits and vegetables. Sometimes they're organic,
whoa.
sometimes they're not, but they're locally grown here, is my understanding. I
That's
haven't done that one
huge.
yet. Yeah,
What
I
is it
just
called?
found it. Everybody's Family Fruit. It's a local thing here in Arizona. But yeah, you get text alerts and they're like, hey, this is the next combo box. Or you can just come and buy only this certain fruits. So there's definitely ways to make it affordable. You just have to find them. There's food banks for crying out loud. And that would be another one where it's like somebody like myself could go to Market on the Move or Everybody's Family Fruit, whatever, buy some of those and then donate it to the food banks for those people. So there's lots of ways to help. It doesn't have to, you don't have to have the junk food.
Correct. But
I would be excited.
want.
I was on SNAP. My family was on food stamps when I was younger. So I don't remember if it was SNAP or not, but I know we had food stamps. It was just my mom. getting Social Security disabled, and it was my sister and I and her. And so she would do her best to help us and stuff, and we had food stamps, and churches would donate stuff for Thanksgiving. Um, but if someone helped us know what is truly healthy and don't use the money on the chips, and we had that boundary, I would be grateful to have healthy foods and that's going to nourish me and make me feel better and not have seizures. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me though. Maybe I'm the rare crayon in the box.
It easy is what people want nowadays.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, processed foods, mentally, they think that's the easiest. I have been going easy as I've been cutting back with work. I'm getting home at 5 o'clock and I have to throw dinner together. And now, eating only meat was very easy. But now that I'm incorporating fruits and veggies, it's taken a little longer, which is totally okay because, yeah, Bryce is loving the diversity. But I came home, sliced up a squash, threw it in a pan with some butter, fried it up, and that took 3 minutes.
Hmm.
And my squash
Sheet pans
cost
are,
what? 99 cents?
yeah. Sheet pan stuff is amazing. I love just buying frozen veg, throwing it on a sheet pan, dousing it with whatever oil we want or sauce. Even like meal prepping, you have to take effort. You just have to. And whatever that looks like for you. So maybe you take Sundays and that's the day you make a bunch of marinated stuff and you buy all the veg and I have to cut it up depending on the veg. But like mushrooms, for example, if I don't cut it the day I buy it and I store it in a brown paper bag in the fridge, it keeps it fresh,
Oh,
then I won't use it because I'm too busy during the week to slice it up.
yeah.
You can chop them up and freeze them, and you can freeze them in individual bags so that you just pull out the bag and throw it in. There's ways to do it. It's just like you said, people want easy now. They want everything handed on a silver platter and just like minimal effort put into anything.
Well, I think one of the other big topics that I totally skipped over was this past spring when Governor Morrissey decided to make changes for the most unhealthy state in the United States. And I am praying that other states will follow suit. He's been very outspoken about it with RFK Jr. They're working very closely together. And he had created the 4 pillars for West Virginia to really promote health. And it's been fascinating starting to dive into that. Let's see here. I've got the
What are
full.
the pillars?
So Governor Morrissey was one of the first people to apparently get rid of the food dyes. He really pushed that. I haven't dug into too much about the expanse of that, but he's definitely been promoting that. So clean up the food was the first pillar. Find purpose, find health. Number 2. Number 3 was move your body. He's big into getting out and taking walks. And then number 4 was reward healthy choices. So he created the Mountaineer Mile, a statewide initiative for each West Virginian to get out and walk a mile each day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Doable. I love that. And just clarification, the dyes, you're speaking of the artificial dyes.
My apologies. Yes, the artificial food dyes.
Because I've heard people get ticked off on that one too. Like, how am I going to
Yes.
color my cakes? And it's like, every country has dyes. They just don't use the artificial ones, they use real ones. So,
And
um,
and
there-
how this ties into SNAP, the implementation of work, training, and education requirements for SNAP recipients. So he's actually got check boxes that you have to check off the criteria to receive this government assistance, which I hate to say it, that's not a bad thing.
no, no, not at all.
If you're gonna get free money, yeah, I could go on about that,
That's where
but
it comes to the accountability. I know there were some thoughts in my head, and I thought I can't say this publicly right now on YouTube, so I'll restrain.
Yeah.
I'll refrain from some things. I guess I won't spill out everything in my brain. But no, those 4 pillars sound incredible. They're really the foundation of it all. I love that he pulled those together in order to actually help those he's serving. They are public servants.
And it is
These politicians.
known over here on the East Coast, West Virginia, and especially being in Virginia, being next to West Virginia, we know how unhealthy those people are, unfortunately. They just have they're remote and they're in the mountains. They don't search out healthcare and they just let their health kind of go to the side. So it's awesome that he's really encouraging, making people aware, and hopefully other states will follow suit because everything that he suggested should be implemented nationwide.
Oh yeah. They're very foundational. I went to a college in the tri-state area over there, so I could see the Welcome to West Virginia sign from my university. And so we would go to certain towns over there. We go to Tim Hortons. Like there really wasn't much. Like Tim Hortons, Kroger's, gosh, I can't remember the restaurant, but there was a fast food, just junk restaurant we would go to at night when we wanted to hang out. That was it. Anything else, we had to go over to Pittsburgh, which was 30 minutes away. So yeah, I do remember just it was a very remote area. There's not much. We also went 2 years ago, I think. My husband has family there, so we were there in West Virginia as well, right on the cusp of Ohio, West Virginia.
Ah,
I
okay.
think it was Ohio. Yeah, we were there. So yeah, I mean, they have, I don't know if they'll watch this, but yeah, they have their ailments, but they know it, and they are trying their best. It's just when you live on a fixed income and
Correct.
the healthy stuff is so expensive, it's hard to change years of what you've been doing. But when we were there, we had some good conversations about, what could she do to better her health and her
Oh,
husband's health and stuff. And I love them. I love that family there.
oh, that helps. But in
Yeah, yeah.
essence, most people just don't know. They don't know how to make the changes. They don't know what health looks like. I had a 30-year-old the other day. He said I was we were talking about diet and I was trying to plant a few seeds with him at being 30 years old in a cardiology office. And he said, "Well, red meat causes cancer." Even the younger generations still don't understand what's good for our body, what has nutrients. And I'm not promoting an all meat diet, but for him to think that meat causes cancer when we do need to have some meat in our diets, it was very enlightening to hear someone so young.
How old was he, you said?
30.
Oh my god. Hasn't American Heart Association actually gone against that? Like, haven't they retracted that
That I don't
statement
know.
that Oh no, they didn't. Um
Advocates for plant-based foods.
okay, there must have been a different food then. Maybe
So w Jen and I just did some real quick research about the American Heart Association and cancer.
Oh, hold on. I was like super close to the thing.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, go
So
ahead.
apparently they've really been focusing on processed meat causes cancer, which, yeah, if it's got the nitrates and all of those preservatives in it, that's a problem. We don't want to eat that. There's a lot of misinformation going around. This Maha movement, if people could just stop being so polarized about it, we could come together, start making some changes. Maybe people will start feeling better. But I'm happy that there's a lot of awareness being spread right now. So this was fun. I'm enjoying talking about, it all comes back together with our health. There's been a lot of movement lately, a lot of changes, and there's a lot of things that aren't really hitting mainstream. And so hopefully Jen and I can dive into a little bit of that and inform some of you. Maybe you haven't heard about what's going on with the Maha movement and just health in general.
Or maybe you have some preconceived notions of what it's actually about, but actually it's not that. It's actually something else. So hopefully I'll clear some of those things up here and there with some of these episodes.
Sounds good.
All right.
All
We'll
right.
talk later.